It's time now for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. Sponsored by Beth Smith and Edward Jones and ProMed Ambulance Services. During the first half of the 20th century, Bing Crosby and Louis Armstrong were among the biggest things in popular music, having appeared together on the big screen multiple times, made several radio broadcasts together, and even recorded an album alongside one another. The two are very close friends. Armstrong was quoted as saying that Crosby's voice was like gold being poured out of a cup. Here are these facts about Bing and Satchmo. Bing Crosby was, by his own definition, a phraser, a singer who placed equal emphasis on both the lyrics and the music. He got the idea of phrasing from his idol Al Jolson, although Crosby's style was more intimate than Jolson's loud, vaudeville-esque numbers. Satchmo became Louis Armstrong's nickname after his 1932 Grand Tour of Europe. A London music magazine editor wrote Satchmo in an article, probably because he could not read his garbled notes. Up until that time, Armstrong's nickname was Satchel Mouth. Mary Carlisle, who worked with Bing Crosby several times on film, noticed he was self-conscious about his height. And he wore lifts. Crosby once told Alan Ladd how pleased he was that Ladd was shorter than him at 5'5". Bing maintained he was 5'9", but an office secretary named Nancy Briggs recalled a visit to his home when he wore slippers and she realized he was her height, 5'7". At the age of 12, Louis Armstrong was sent to reform school for firing a pistol in the air. In 1946, 3 of the 5 top-grossing pictures of the year were Bing Crosby vehicles: The Bells of St. Mary's, Blue Skies, and Road to Utopia. Louis Armstrong was a lifelong reader and talented idiosyncratic writer who carried a dictionary with him on tour. Bing Crosby introduced more Academy Award-nominated songs, 14 of them, and more winners, 4 of them, than any other film star, and wrote or co-wrote lyrics to 22 songs. Although Louis Armstrong is often referred to with his first name given the French pronunciation of Louis, he always used the Louis pronunciation, even though he didn't mind people using the former. To people who pointed out that Louis is originally a French name that would be pronounced Louis in that language, he used to reply, "I ain't French." Bing Crosby learned how to pronounce German for written scripts and read propaganda broadcasts intended for German forces during World War II. Doc Lewis, the trainer character in the 1987 video game Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, is based on Louis Armstrong's likeness. 4 of Bing Crosby's recordings have been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, established in 1973, drawn on recordings that are at least 25 years old and that have qualitative or historical significance. In 1964, Louis Armstrong performed a feat many considered impossible when he knocked the Beatles off the top spot in the charts with Hello Dolly. Even more impressive is that he did so at the age of 63. Between 1927 and 1962, Bing Crosby scored 368 charted records under his own name, plus 28 as vocalist with various band leaders, a total of 396, compared to Crosby's old boss Paul Whiteman at 220, Frank Sinatra at 209, Elvis Presley at 149, Glenn Miller at 129, Nat King Cole at 118, the Beatles at 68, and Louis Armstrong at 85. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me for Trivia Tracks weekdays at 6:45 on Everybody's Country Y95.